So Clayton Kershaw is coming after the drag troupe coming to perform on Pride Night. He's basically saying that the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are mocking Christianity. This is really bothersome because the sisters were already canceled one time. Now they've been re-invited, and here he goes trying to cancel them again. They're literally just a drag troupe.
LA Dodgers pitching ace Clayton Kershaw apparently is not afraid to throw some strikes. You know, I have to admit, I've been proven wrong. As when I made my video, I believe last week, when the Dodgers had apologized and re-invited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, I stated, I doubt any player, will stand up against this, as I felt, and still feel with some level of conviction that most athletes, they're afraid to speak out against anything that's under the flag of LGBTQ, and most still are. But the few that do speak up, I got to tip my hat off to them. And give them credit. Now, Clayton Kershaw, he didn't really go that deep in the water per se, with his discuss, but he brought up one thing that I never realized. It had me thinking. He mentioned for the Dodgers to bring back Faith and Family theme night. And once again, it got me thinking, why was that theme night scratched off the schedule? Why was it scratched off the schedule in the first place? I can understand why they did it in 2020 and 2021, due to the bear bug, but nothing last year. And prior to this issue with the gay nuns, they weren't going to have it this year, but they will entertain all the LGBTQ stuff, but not Faith and Family Night. And that tells you a lot right there. This man pretty much had to be bold, put his neck on the line just to get Faith and Family Night back at Dodger Stadium. I mean, where are we going, America? It's just getting crazier and crazier, man. And a microcosm of what direction America's culture is heading is, of course, unfortunately, social media. And here, I'm just going to point out a few clowns that oppose what Clayton Kershaw has said. Remember, Mr. Kershaw, he didn't say anything bad about Pride. He didn't say anything about bad about Pride Night or the Trans Nuns. But people nowadays, they don't read and comprehend. They just look at the headlines. So look at these clowns here. Here we got Whitney D. Says, look, actual Catholic nuns don't object to the sisters. They appreciate their community work. Unless Clayton Kershaw is willing to take up that community work on his own, I think he needs to just zip it. Because all he's doing is putting the LGBTQ community at risk. Like, what? What risk? I hate when these people make a claim but can't substantiate it by giving an example. I mean, come on. Nobody in the LGBTQ community has a safety compromise because of the situation with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. I mean, come on. Now, look. Here we go to Mr. Brennan. He says, just so we're all clear, a big F you to Clayton Kershaw, Trevor Williams, Anthony Bass, and anyone who stands with their intolerant beliefs. Now, doesn't he sound like a bigot? I mean, he sounds like he's very close-minded right there. But what do I know? Here's another one. Let's Go Padres is his handle name. If Clayton Kershaw has a problem with people dressing up like caricatures of Catholic clergy, I have a really bad news for him about the mascot for the team 100 miles south that he plays 12 times a year. I'm reading this and like, what? And I guess he's referring to the San Diego Padres, who has a mascot, as you can see, is a friar. And from what I know, a friar is a clergy who belongs to a Catholic church. So I really don't see anything so offensive here. I mean, I highly doubt that this mascot does any type of sexual acts or wears devil horns like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence does at times. And that's the thing that really gets me, with some of these people, is that they assume something out of nothing. But when you find something out of something that really stands out, they avoid it and just call you names and point out something that's not even there. I tell you, I would hate to have a liberal as my lawyer. Seriously, because they can't argue and defend their points for shit. I mean, they just can't, because the mind is just, is the spinning, but no hamsters on the wheel. Now let's look at this last one by Catherine Tinker. Christian Dodgers player Clayton Kershaw had no problem wearing a pride cap last year. Like what? The man never said he was against pride. You know, just that he's against, hosting the gay nuns group. I mean, these people, they're so stupid and emotional. They just conflate everything together. If you disagree with the trans nuns, that means you hate gay people. Come on, really? It's very unfortunate, but what is fortunate is that 2 other baseball pitchers I noticed have stood up with Clayton Kershaw. One being his teammate by name of Blake Treinen, and a pitcher on the Washington Nationals by name of Trevor Williams. Each player echoed the same sentiment as Kershaw in their disagreement with the Dodgers' decision. So it looks like there is a little bit of movement being built up here, as some big time names are speaking up. Even former Vice President Mike Pence spoke out against this. And regardless of what party line you belong to or I belong to, you have to admit, this took some guts for him to tweet this out. So Mr. Pence says this: having been raised in a Catholic family, the Dodgers' decision to invite the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, a hateful group that blatantly mocks Catholicism, to their event next month is deeply offensive. Last summer, the MLB moved their All-Star game out of Georgia over a lie about voter ID. Now they are apologizing and welcoming anti-Catholic bigots back to the Dodger Stadium with open arms. The MLB should not be apologizing to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. They should be apologizing to Catholics across America. America's pastime should respect the faith of every American, no matter what. Now that right there, my friends, that's a man, regardless of Democrat or Republican. He spoke out against, what's the current culture right now. And he's standing up for his belief because he feels convicted in his belief, in his faith. Whether you and I agree or disagree with his political stance or his belief, I respect that. What I don't respect are cowards who say one thing they mean and then all of a sudden apologize for it and regret what they say. Like the picture right here from the Toronto Blue Jays.
I made a post that was hurtful to the Pride community, which includes friends of mine and close family members of mine, and I am truly sorry for that.
Going before the cameras ahead of Tuesday night's game, Jays relief pitcher Anthony Bass briefly addressed media after the firestorm of controversy generated by this post.
I just spoke with my teammates and shared with them my actions yesterday. I apologize with them. And as of right now, I'm using the Blue Jays resources to better educate myself, to make better decisions moving forward.
So this picture, Anthony Bass, he posted an IG video of a Christian man speaking out against Target. And of course, the mainstream media is just going to make it out to it being homophobic and so on and so on. But the main issue on top of the LGBTQ stuff that the gentleman on the Instagram Live was speaking about against, or the Instagram Reel was speaking out against, was advertising this lifestyle to children. Notice anytime you try to protect kids, they are quick to throw the pride flag over them like some sort of shield. And not only is Mr. Bass being a coward by going back on his words, but he's letting them indoctrinate him to conform to their ways of thinking. As he said, he's using the teen's resources to help educate himself. Really, dude? We all know what that means.
Pride Toronto has been involved in training Blue Jays staff on LGBTQ issues.
My initial reaction to the post, I was pissed. I was upset. I was mad. But I had to reflect. I took 5 minutes to kind of reflect on the work that I know that the Jays Foundation, that the Jays are doing in really promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. And for me, that gave me a little bit of hope.
At the end of the day, Modeste says Bass's actions warrant more than an apology.
He's going to have to demonstrate that he's committed to unlearning some of the biases that he currently holds, some of the notion that he has on the 2S LGBTQ community.
Yep, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Code word for brainwashing. As the gentleman stated there, the pitcher Anthony Bass will have to demonstrate that he is committed to unlearning his biases. That's what happens when you give in. That's what happens. The other pitchers, they didn't get publicly lambasted, and they They were not told to undergo any type of diversity in training. And I think it's because they stayed 10 toes down. They really did. They stuck to their guns, at least for right now. Because I can imagine, when it's a contract season, the players, they'll switch up. But once again, I have to give credit where credit is due. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Are these players who are speaking out, do you believe they're starting a movement? We'll see.